in here, up in here. Y'all gon' make me lose my cool. Up in here, up in here. Off the chain, I leave ass off of the brain. Whoa, still want the fame, off the name. First of all, you ain't rap long enough to be with me. You ain't strong enough. So whatever it is you pumping on, they got you thinking that you Superman. I got the kryptonite, and I smack you with my knock in the mic. That's characters, not even good actors. Let's go beat it out. Let's add up all the factors. You act, you twisted, your girls are whoa. You broke, the kid ain't yours, and everybody know. Your own man say you stupid. You be like, so, I love my baby mother. I never let her go. I'm tired of
So, you're all going to make me lose my mind up in here, up in there, right? So my mind just keeps ticking and going and researching this and that and digging deep and deeper and deeper and deeper. We could talk about, we'll call him, what are we going to call him today? Carbon copy Carney, okay? Everything the guy's done, he's copied from Pierre Poilievre. Period. Pierre Poilievre's been on the road now for a couple years, prior to Donald Trump, by the way, becoming president, because nobody thought he'd ever become president, and talking all the same points he's been talking since day one. Getting rid of the GST, making the housing crisis more affordable, dumping the carbon tax, everything else. In carbon copy Carney, okay, is stealing all his points, every one of them. Right down to jumping in the Edmonton Oilers uniform, which is the color blue, by the way, which is the color for conservatives. Just what a clown, really, really, really. So I'm digging deep into numbers because I like numbers, right? Math is everything to me, right? And I just love numbers. And so I started digging into national debts of countries, starting with well, we know America's at $37 trillion. $37 trillion. A lot of money. Now, China is only 13 trillion. They have the population of 1.2 billion people, and they're at 13 trillion, their national debt. Russia, 150 million population. Believe this or not, you can check it out. Their national debt's only at 600 billion. Or pardon me, now I'm wrong. $300 billion is their national debt. And then we got Canada. Canada, population, 40 million people. Okay, our national debt is at almost 3 trillion, $2.7 trillion. Okay, which is in lockstep with the United States, because if you look at the population of the United States, it's almost 350 million. Canada's 40 million, give or take, right? Probably given. We're not taking. We are taking, sorry, the other way around. So 10% of the population of America, we're lockstep. Okay, but if you were to convert that over to U.S., now $3 trillion turns into what? $3.5 trillion. Okay, so we're in the same position as America when it comes to the national debt, almost exactly for penny. Now, what's really crazy about it, in 2015, 10 years ago, our national debt was $600 billion. And that was crazy. That was a lot of money. So in 10 years, we went from $600 billion to $3 trillion. $3 trillion is what our debt is, right? In the tariffs, that's why they're coming for America, right? They got to pay off their national debt. Now, Canada, we just keep giving our money away, printing it and giving it, and not giving it to the right people, like people that need it in our own country. Not at all. It's going to other places, right? Syria. Now I heard 100 million to Gaza. And they just keep giving it away. 250 million to Bangladesh. This is all in the last week. The guy ain't even prime minister yet, and he's making pledges and commitments, right? And he's not even the prime minister of Canada, Carney, right? So carbon copy Carney. Okay, those are my slogans, by the way. I made up a lot of slogans in my life, right? Catchphrases, and people use them, right? And it's funny. So if you hear it, you heard it here first, and that's carbon copy Carney. Just like my other phrases, okay? And measles on your weasel, or monkeypox on you know what. What rhymes with monkeypox? You know what? Okay, so I see a lot of people using it, and it's pretty funny, right, out there. So if you heard it here first, right? So I'm going to read a couple comments here. Ask me a question, and I'll comprehensively answer it. Okay, to the immigrants to keep them coming. Yeah, well, a lot of it is that, right? And they're bringing in people and they're paying them. So if you missed the beginning of this, you're gonna have to go back. The numbers are just crazy. Our national debt is in lockstep with America. Now, if we had 300 million people, we'd be 37 trillion in debt. Who's paying for this? Now, I like the idea of this Ring of Fire, and I've been following that too. And it was Bob Ray back in the Ontario Liberal days, okay, who exposed it, that the Ring of Fire, and there's this deposit of minerals, and there's a lot of minerals up there, from gold to diamonds to lithium to everything that everybody needs, platinum, okay, all kinds of shit up there, and it's in the trillions. So they got to get in there some way, somehow. And you hear Mark Carney now, he's talking about even trade across, fair trade across all the provinces in Canada, which was a pure Poilievre anyways move. The pipelines, pure Poilievre's move. Carney's actually been there the whole time to shut them down and boycott this and that. Him and Stephen Guilbeault and Justin Trudeau and the whole clown show, right? So when you watch these polls and they're saying, oh, the liberals are leading. Okay. Now, yeah, sure. If I want to go to let's say, the gay community in Toronto and take a poll, which we know 90% of them are liberals, okay, and take a poll, yeah, of course you're going to be leading in that community, right? If I go to the bar and everybody's stone cold drunk, and I take a poll on how many are going to go to an AA meeting tomorrow, okay, obviously they're not. Okay, so the poll, okay, runs in favors in the areas that you poll in. Obviously, city centers of Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto, for some reason, like to be liberal. And if you're going to poll in those areas, you're going to expect liberals to win in those areas, right? I don't see any way that carbon copy Carney's going to try and even come close to winning this, right? He's worse than a bag of tampon Tims. A garbage bag full. Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to slip up and say he's friends with school shooters, right? The shit that he said already, right? Blocking the mainstream media, which is pretty funny, right? In the way that he's treating them and talking to them, from the CBC to all of them, to Globo to the BBC. Even they're asking them sensible questions like, you spend $500,000 on a 36-hour plane ride to England to see your buddy, and then over to France, which is right across the channel, the English Channel, right? And it cost $500,000 to the taxpayers, not even prime minister. Are you going to pay it back? Oh, well, and he goes on to something else about tariffs with the U.S. Listen, England and France don't have shit to do with the tariffs in the U.S. with Canada. If you're going to be talking about tariffs, you should be in the United States and Washington representing the Canadian people, not in England and France, right? So he's a clown, plain and simple. I can't stand him. I find him more repulsive than Justin Trudeau, right? And he's been there the whole time. When he was questioned on it yesterday, saying, well, nobody's to blame in Canada but the United States for the debt. Wait. I just ran it down to you. Our national debt 10 years ago was only $600 billion, which is a lot of money. And now it's $3 trillion, just under $3 trillion. Okay. And that happened under Carney. He was Justin Trudeau's financial advisor, right? And it's going to be interesting to see anyways how it goes. But there's no way, and I don't care what mainstream media, they never learned anything from the Kamala Harris and Joe Biden run that they just had. You could throw all the money you want at it, okay? They threw $1.2 billion into a campaign. I've never heard of that in my life. And they lost miserably, so miserably in the States, they lost everything. The swing states, the Senate, the Congress, the White House, all of it, okay? They lost it. But mainstream media had them in the lead right up until the 11th hour. And I mean the 11th hour, 11 p.m. Okay. And that's when things went downhill, right? And it sunk, and we've seen it, and we know the results of it, right? So mainstream media is selling, still trying to sell them, man, really. And it's wrong, really. Get to the truth of the matters, right? This is probably one of the biggest elections that we're going to have in this country, okay? Times are changing, and they can either change and go south, or they could go north. Okay, I want it to go north. I want to see the ring of fire open. I want to see oil being pumped, and I want to see oil being sold overseas. Okay, I want to see Canada prosper. I want to see people working, right? And I don't see it, right? If we get a liberal government, I see a lot of broken promises, starting with the carbon tax. Oh, I'm getting rid of the carbon tax. That's another thing. Last week, I took a picture of the pumps on Sunday. It was $1.51 for diesel. Why is it $1.62 at the same gas bar? If carbon taxes are gone, why am I paying 10 cents more than I did last week for fuel? Right? So it's a scam. And anybody out there, I'm sticking with my guy, Carney. Well, I just ran the numbers down, okay? And stick with whoever you got to go. Okay, with who you really, really think. If you think Carney's the guy for the job, then vote for Carney. I'm telling you. And I'm not selling Pierre Poilievre for anything. I'm not promising Pierre Poilievre. Like Donald Trump said, he can't stand. I've been saying it for years. I think he's a fucking weasel. Axe the tax. We'll do like this. Axe the tax. Do I sound like Pierre Poilievre? Okay, bring it home, baby. We're going to drill, baby, drill. Okay, that's Pierre Poilievre. Yeah, I went to one of his rallies, and a lot of people showed up, and things are going really good for Pierre Poilievre, really. He's the last chance we have, really. If he fails, then it's all done. Canada's going to fold. Okay, we can't keep going on the way we're going on with the national debt the way that it is. Okay, you can't even Windsor yesterday, I posted a video last night. 26 people living in a house. One house. Three-level house. 16 in the basement alone. 26 people living in one house. I wonder what they're paying for rent. What do you think, Nora? You're into real estate. What's that work out to? About $50 a month per person? 26 people in a house in my hometown, Windsor. And it's only going to get worse. It's not getting any better. So when the liberals say, oh, no, things are fine under our rule, they're not fine. They're far from fine. Okay, Canada's not dead, but they're not. It's far from being any good in Canada. It's worse in Canada than it is in the U.S. by far, because we can't keep going the way that we're going. Right? They're all used car salesmen. Can't believe any of their BS. Paul, you're right. Right. I do know some good used car salesmen, by the way, that I would trust more than the politician by far, right? When you hear the tariffs, and oh my, America's putting tariffs on. America's in debt large. And we're just as much in debt as they are. Almost lockstep. And it's like they designed it that way. Instead of wiping out hunger and homelessness in Canada and being proud, and we'd be on the top of the game right now, wiping out the debt. No, they gave the money away to countries. I can name the countries. You got Ukraine, you got every country in Africa with their hands out. It's like USAID, right? USAID or whatever it's called, USAID. Exactly the same. They gave it away, and now we're going without. Our people are going without. You're not hearing anything out of Carney's mouth. Even the reporters aren't even asking him, period, about the drug addiction. The biggest pandemic we've ever seen in Canadian history is this fentanyl crisis. Okay, and it's affecting a lot of people. A lot of people. Now, you don't have to be a user for it to affect you. You just got to have somebody in your family that's using. Okay, and all your freedoms are taken away, by the way, when that comes down and somebody's in your family and they're on that. By the grace of God, nobody in my family's on it. Nobody. And with that, but I do know about drug addiction. I know it very well. Okay. When you have that in the household, okay, and somebody's on it, or a good friend, it takes away your freedoms to sleep, your freedoms to do this, because you're always worrying about that person, right? Are they going to be here tomorrow? Are they going to be here tonight even, right? And a lot of people are dying from it, and you're not hearing Carney say anything about it. Anything. Okay, the last week he hasn't said anything about helping the addicts, and I don't think by enabling them, by giving them drugs, okay, or making it easier catch and release so they could possess up to 2.5 grams, this and that, that's the wrong move. You know, if you're gonna invest money, invest it in the treatment centers, but we're broke and we don't have any money for these treatment centers, okay? Why? Because we gave it away to other countries, and that's why we're so far in debt in this country, right? That's what's going on. Yeah, I feel sorry for anybody. I grew up in the crack epidemic. That's what they called it, right? Well, this fentanyl shit makes crack look like marijuana in the 70s, right? And that's pretty crazy. I mean, by the grace of God, my kids, you know, yeah, they have a couple beers here and there. They smoke their cannabis once in a while, right? But it's not offhanded. The reason why I got to credit my wife for that, right? Because she could have went to work. Been with her for 33 years. And she could have went to work and left the kids. And we know what happens when there's no parent in the house. It's party, right, for kids, right? And I seen it growing up. I had friends of mine, both parents worked, and they were never home. And it was murder mayhem, right? She stayed home. I worked, and she still stays home today, 33 years. And she took care of the kids and kept an eye on the household, right? So all the credit goes to her on the way that my kids are, okay, because they had that parent figure there at get them off the bus, get them to school, bring them their lunches every day, or bring them home for lunch, right? That's a job all in itself, okay? And she did that, cleaned the house and cooked, and there was always a meal on the table. My job as a parent was to bring home the money, okay, so that she could carry on raising the kids the way that they are. That's, you know, I don't feel guilty about it at all. Everything's good, really, really, really. My daughter's birthday's today. She's 27, and she's in nursing school. She's got her own business going on, right? She's successful, and things are going good, right? So when you don't have that family together, okay, and like I said, both parents are working, things go amok in the household, right? Their friends come over, and next thing you know, they're partying. There's teenage sex and everything else that's going on in the household, right? That shit don't go on. Never went on in my house, because there was always somebody there to keep an eye on the kids. We knew where the kids were at all times of the, right? And just being a parent, that's what parenting's all about, right? It's not about money. Yeah, I sacrifice my 12 hours a day going to work to bring home the bread and the butter, and to keep the lights on and the roof over everybody's head, and the heat on, keep everybody warm, and the clothing, everything else, right? So it is what it is. Don Jolinas, my good friend Donnie, I know it's very nice out today. It was really nice yesterday, the day before. And, you know, yeah. Roseanne says, and that's why a family should be. Leo, credits to you and your wife. Yeah, well, me, I've always cut ties on things, right? And taken the shorter way to succeed on a lot of things. If you know anything about me, I'm all about 420 legalization of cannabis, and on the medical aspect and the recreational, right? It's soft. I knew back in, I think the first time I got busted was 1990, somewhere around there anyways. And I was writing a book on the medical aspects of cannabis, right? So I knew in 1990, and when I got busted, they took the book. I never got the book back, right? It was almost finished too. It was would have been a blockbuster seller, because I had insight on it, right? Being a boxer, suffering from concussions and body aches, the whole 9 yards, right? And I used the cannabis, because when I drank, I got violent. Okay, I got violent. If I drank in my 20s, there's a great chance somebody was going to the hospital I'd go to the bar just for shits and giggles and fistfights, right? And that's just me, right? Everybody that grew up around me were probably like, this guy's crazy. I shouldn't be alive, right? But the cannabis helped me. And I figured, and I seen it happening, so I was writing it down, right, on what I was doing, what I was taking. And, yeah, it steered me away from alcohol in the end. And, but I was writing that book, and I wish I would have got that book back, and I never did, right? So that's a little bit about me anyways. So Don Chalinas, we should be on the jet ski soon. My house arrest ends May 28th. May 28th. So we should be on the water May 27th and a half at midnight. Would be May 28th. Anasty's watching. So I give all the credit to my wife on the way my kids grew up because, like I said, yeah, there was times where I played the game with the weed. I got caught. I had to pay the piper, and I sat in prison. And I regret it. It's kind of funny, this story. When was it? Hurricane Katrina. I got 14 months in prison or whatever, right? For cannabis. And one day I'm here, next day you're not. That's how it works, okay? So my kids are like, where's Dad? This and that. So I told them I got to go to New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina, baby. Hurricane Katrina. Your dad's going to rescue people and build houses, everything else. Well, what can I tell you? Your kids are little. You can't tell them you're going to the joint, okay? Because, you know, that could have psychological effects, right? So I became the hero. Meanwhile, I'm sitting up in Penetang, right? So I get out. I go to pick up the kids from school, and the teachers, and they're all clapping. Oh, Leo, you're a good guy, this and that. So what are you talking about? Well, they went to school and told their teachers that my dad's in New Orleans, and he's helping people out in Hurricane Katrina and this and that, right? And I'm thinking, oh no, I can't lie. I just can't lie. So I took the principal. I said, listen, that never happened. I got caught with a bag of weed, and I had to go do my time, right? No, really? I said, yeah, I can't tell. Oh no, understandable, Leo. Okay. So then the next time I was in where was I? Afghanistan. Yeah, I served in Iraq, Afghanistan. So I was always telling the kids when Daddy disappeared, right? Bullshit stories, right? And because you couldn't tell them the truth, and they know the truth now, and we laugh about it, right? But that's what I did to make ends meet, right? Do I have any regrets about it? No, hell no. My kids are all upstanding, right? Shit, little Leo's going to be 20. And he's never had a confrontation with a police officer. He's never even been run through the system, right? My daughter's the same thing, right? So, yeah, no, they've turned out really, really well. But that's a true story, Anasty. Yeah, I served in Afghanistan, Iraq, where else? Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, I was quite the character, right? But when I was in there, I read all the books I could on it also. Yeah, it is what it is. So with the national debt the way that it is, guys, it's not getting any better. It's only going up. We can't even pay the interest off. That's how fast it's creeping up. If you look at the ticker on the U.S. national debt, it's slowing down a bit with Donald Trump, but it's still moving, and it's moving north of 60, right? So the faster Canada gets into the ground and gets the minerals out, okay, the faster we could get out of debt. Dara Pfeiffer. There's an Irish name. Dara Pfeiffer O'Connor. Dara Pfeiffer O'Connor. Should I sound like Sean Connery? Connery. Good way. Thought, laughing at him. Mine had to visit their real dad in jail. And you know what? That was the hardest thing for me. Even my wife says, I'm coming to visit you. I said, you're not visiting me. So what do you mean? I said, I don't want you to see me in here. And you're not bringing the kids up this way. My brother lived in the next town. I was up in Penetang, which is Midland, Orillia area. My brother lives in Barrie in 14 months. And he's like, I'm going to come visit. No. I didn't want any visitors from anybody. Right, period. I don't want to see people. Yeah, I would have liked to see people, but not in that manner, right? I got caught with the bag, and you know what it is. So I didn't take any visitors from anybody. Yeah, I'm not that type of guy. Come and visit me. Put money in my commissary. No. right? I didn't want anything from anybody. But now, I'm going to be free finally, man. Finally. 33 years of being on some sort of stipulation, bail, probation, prison, whatever, right? 33 years of my life's a long time, man. Really. I can't wait to run straight and narrow, which is pretty funny. Because I've always done something, right? Always had something going. Always. But I always stayed away from hardcore shit, the blow, the H, any of it, right? The pills. I stayed away from all that shit. I've always stayed on the track of cannabis, right? Because I seen it legalized, becoming legal. Shit, my high school teacher, my biology teacher, whose father was, he was my biology teacher, and he became the chief of police, Jay Blair. Okay, and he taught me how to grow. And I had conversations with him about pot, right, in the 80s, and he was telling me it'll be legal before your life's done. So as a plant biologist, he knew, right? And I just kept pushing. And as an activist, sometimes you got to go pay your dues, right? So it is what it's. Well, let's talk about some Tesla shit, eh? What do you guys think about Tesla? What do you think of all this crazy shit going on with Tesla? Well, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Tesla. A new word came up to me a few weeks ago, and I thought it was funny, right? Trans-Tifa. Trans-Tifa. It's a real thing. And people are like, oh, I tell people, what's that? I've never heard of that phrase before. Well, what do you think it is? Trans-Tifa. It's not Transylvania. It's not a transmission. We know what trans is. Trans-Tifa. Okay, so all these environmentalists, okay, a lot of them, they're all about the environment, clean air protection, save the earth, this and that. But they're burning Teslas. Setting them on fire. Okay, they're polluting the air with toxic materials, okay, from the batteries, lithium, whatever, copper, cobalt, everything that's in them batteries they make, okay, it burns. And you can't put these fires out. They're not conventional car fires where you just come and douse them with gas, they go out. They stay up for a long time, right? Poisoning the environment around you. So these Trans-Tifa that are all about global warming and the climate initiative, net zero, everything else, okay, they're the ones starting these fires. And I've been saying it for a couple of years, okay, the forest fires, all of it, right? When in doubt, they burn them out. Okay, Fort McMurray, what a great spot that would be, oil-rich town to set it ablaze, okay, and Jasper, I don't know why they would do Jasper, but Kelowna, there's been a lot of towns that have been burnt right to the ground, right? And a lot of it's 95% of it's arson. And it's these Trans-Tifa. Because if they don't get their way politically or whatever else, they go to other extremes, okay? They're no different from a terrorist group. They're terrorizing people, period. Okay, and they'll go to that extreme to do what they got to do, right? What they think they're doing is right. And that's starting fires and everything else, right? So don't expect the fire ratios to go down this year. Expect them to go up, especially if the liberals lose. And you're going to see it in the U.S. Okay, you're seeing it right now in the U.S. Fires in New York State. Come on, it's March. And there's fires? Come on. No. And they're set, right? And then the government will come in and say, oh, it was due to global warming and everything else. No, it's not due to global warming, folks. It's due to Trans-Tifa arsonists. Climate change initiative guys, right? Ron Hopkins, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Going into work a little early today. I got a nice lineup I got to get. I just want to make sure everything's on cue for me. Jason Schray, Bob Bakos, even if he wins, he's getting over $700 billion debt. We're going to be taxed into oblivion. Who, Pierre Poilievre, Bob? Yes. Don't matter who gets in. Right? Like I said, the national debt's insane right now. But back to the fires. Those are all being started by Trans-Tifa guys, okay? And you got climate change guys like Stephen Guilbeault, that guy, okay, who uses methods of stalking and all kinds of crazy shit, climbing the CN Tower, unbelievable. And he was the environment minister, but he's still there now. He's in charge of parks and recs. Brutal, right? So the Liberals, they got all the same people in the party, and it's just great to see carbon copy Carney take over everything that Pierre Poilievre's been saying. And people say, oh, Pierre's like Trump, this and that, he's Trump's buddy. Listen, Pierre's been talking all this shit a year before Trump was even running in the election. So it is what it is. DEW fires, exactly, Anasty. And that's going on, right? So don't expect the fires to go out this year. Expect a lot more fires. Just if you're camping, be wary of the green, purple-haired, whatever, right? Campers that are next to you. And keep an eye on them. You know who I'm talking about, right? The Trans-Tifa campers. Okay, because they're out there, they're not out there camping and having a good time. They're out there looking for shit to start, right? A lot of them. Yeah, ramping up for the smart cities. Yeah. I'm ramping up to get the hell out of here and go up north and build a little cabin on the water. That's what I'm ramping up to do. Really, I am. I'm not leaving Canada. I'm not moving to Colombia, which I can tomorrow. I got a place to stay. I'm not moving to Costa Rica, which I can tomorrow, and I got a place to stay. I'm not moving to the Philippines, which I can tomorrow, and I got a place to stay. I'm staying right here, baby. So I'm not going anywhere. I can't read that. Burn back better. Yeah, that's burn back better. Crazy, right? So that's what's going on with these fires. So don't let the government tell you, oh, it's due to climate change, this and that. No. Some of it is. Yeah, some lightning strikes in the forest causes a fire. I'm not going to deny that. Okay, that happens, and that's been happening for thousands of years. But when you got towns, strategic towns like Fort McMurray, and what's Fort McMurray's gross national product? It's not trees. It's oil, right? So you want to take a bite of the climate, and when they don't win their way, and that's what's going on with Tesla. When they don't win their way, they go after somebody. Tesla, they go after Elon Musk and this and that. And that's wrong. You know, I can't stand Elon Musk, but you don't go after the guy's business like that and terrorize. You're watching videos of guys going into Tesla, freaking out with the blow horns and everything else, and the customers are like, wow, really? It's only a matter of time before somebody gets pop, right? You know, you're going to go in there and scare the wrong people, and in the U.S., they pull out, right? Here you go. You ain't scaring me anymore because dead people don't scare me. Meligo. See, he's from Colombia. I go to Colombia. I got a place to stay. Colombia sounds nice. But I bought an apple yesterday. Listen to this one. Get an apple. The wife buys me an apple for my lunch. It came to just the apple alone, $1.95 for one apple. And it wasn't a very pretty apple. $1.95 for one apple in Canada. I'm glad I'm growing apples this year and peaches. Yeah, it's brutal. So the WEF agenda, the WIF agenda, well, Mark Carney's part of it. He's been a big part of it. So watch the way you guys vote. It's all about money, dollars and cents at the end of the day. If liberals can't open their eyes and see this guy so full of shit, well, that's too bad for you guys, really. Like I said, the polls that happened, they do them in strongholds where the liberals are, and then they say, oh, the liberals are leading. We got an analyst poll. Yeah, we took the poll in the gay community, and you wonder why the liberals are winning. Okay. Why don't you go out to the rural areas of Canada where people are struggling, or come to even Windsor and find out in my neighborhood. You know, I can't wait for a politician to come and knock on my door this year. I might give the Conservatives a year, but anybody else, you're going to get the best Facebook Live you ever seen. I guarantee it, or your money back. Okay? And when they come to my door, I'm filming it. I'm filming what's going to happen and what I'm going to say and everything else. And you guys are going to get the heads up on it. Just please come and knock on my door. Liberal, NDP, any of you. The Greens, I got something for you guys. The mouth of the South. With that being said, I got to go. Ciao, guys.